Tonight we are racing with Team 3R around the Sand Sequoias route. The Sand Sequoias route was introduced to Swift back in August 2019 and is 20 kilometers long with a 2.4 kilometer lead-in. This loop begins just before the Fiego Flat start pins, taking us out to the desert for a flat and fast first half of the race. Leaving the town of Saddle Springs around 9.5 kilometers into the race, the road ramps up a bit, then begins to descend through the Sequoia Grove. Hanging a right on the descent through the trees takes us up to the Titan Groves KOM, and then finally back out to the finish line in the desert. The Titan Groves KOM is 2.6 kilometers long with an average of 2.2%. So not huge in the scheme of things, but difficult when you're racing. Overall, there will be 180 meters of climbing throughout this race. Alright, so 5 minutes to go. I've changed my warm-up routine. I've started doing specific workouts. So I'm hoping that's going to start yielding some benefits. We'll see how we go. So over on swiftpower.com, I've been checking out the other riders racing tonight. Their power levels as well as their recent racing history and where they're finished. Now not all races are registered on swiftpower.com, which is a bit unfortunate, but what can you do? So what is SwiftPower? SwiftPower is a community-driven website that complements the Swift app. It lets Swift racers and race organisers track results and check out all the details of the races they participated in, as well as monitoring and analysing their data. So essentially it means it gives you a more detailed analysis of a rider's effort during a race, more so than is provided via the Swift app. Now additionally, SwiftPower helps to filter out riders that may be not riding in their correct category. So overall it helps to provide a more accurate set of race results. So I've had a look through the races that are registered, and we can see there's a few there that are going to be super competitive. So Brutalist Equilibrium, Kurt Arnold, Rob Westendade, Todd. So I had a look at these guys and their race results, and they've all been racing similar races at the same watts per kilo that I race. So certainly these are the guys to look out for. Now Brutalist, which is a fantastic name, he's the one that I'm looking to spot. So my strategy is going to be that I'm going to look out for him, spot him as quick as I can, and then try and sit on his wheel and see how that works. So certainly he's placed well in this race previously. And it's going to be interesting to see how he goes. He's a lighter rider, puts out great power. So my guess is that I'll hang on for as long as I can. Now, of course, that'll be until we hit the climbing, and then I'll just do the best I can. So, and hopefully look for a good result. So tonight I am riding in my training kit, which is the distinctive red and blue bikes and beer gear with my orange hat. So that's the gear I normally ride in just for training rides without having to change the gear all the time. And of course I'm on my blue Tron bike. Alright, so we've got 16 riders so far that have come into the pens. And Brutalist is saying howdy from Tokyo, which is very nice of him. Now, up until recently, I've just been doing the crit races, which have been practically flat. So this is definitely a departure from the races that I've been doing. And as I said, I'm just, well, certainly I'm not great on hills at the moment, but that's the reason why I'm doing this ride or this race. Trying to get better at those climbs especially, and develop some more power, regain that power that I used to have. Alright, so we've got 30 seconds left. 18 riders in the pen. Oh, quick, turn the fan on. Almost forgot that. Alright, 5 seconds. Ramping that power up. And we're out. Now I didn't put as much power into this as I normally would on a typical crit. Only because this is a bit more involved with the climbing. So we grouped up pretty quickly here. And for a second I couldn't work out what was going on. I thought, why are there so many riders all grouped up really quickly? And then of course I realised with 3R races that everyone leaves the pen at the same time, no matter which category you're in. So we can see on the right hand side there we've got A and B riders typically that we're on the front here with. And look, I was really unsure about sitting there so early at the race. I didn't really want to burn a whole bunch of matches just keeping up with these guys. But then I saw a couple of the C grade riders come through. There's Kurt, Vincent. And so I started looking out for Brutalist. So the pace isn't too bad, like we're doing 45 k's an hour. I'm sort of sitting at about 156 beats per minute on the old heart rate monitor. And I'm thinking this is not too bad. We'll stay with this for a bit. Oh, thanks Sharon for the ride on. Still looking around for a Brutalist. There's Rob. Here he is. So he is in the white helmet with the purple socks and yellow shoes. And looks like the grey Rafa kit. And so we can see from the map there we've already dropped a bunch of riders, so there'll be the other C grade riders and D. Although I can see there's an A and a few Bs there behind us. So on the map you can tell the categories by the colour of the dot. So the reddy orange dot is an A grade rider. We can see that in the leaderboard there. Blue dots are C grade riders. Green dots are B grade riders. And the yellow ones are D grade. So in this race we've got 2.4 kilometers of lead in before the race starts. And this is a loop ride, so we've got the start and finish line just coming up under this, I guess, rocky overpass. Not quite a tunnel, but we'll see that line up on the road just ahead here. Now of course in the 3R races, or in this one in particular, they don't have power-ups. There's no power-ups available. So I guess that kind of keeps it a bit even. So I'm sticking on Brutalist's wheel here. I'm not letting him go right now. And we can see that there's a bit of a gap's opened up. We've got a couple of B and C grade riders coming up behind us here. which is pretty good. There's even a D grade rider sitting in with us. So we form a bit of a group here. Kick it up, I just realised there was a bit of a gap opening up. Push the power up, get back on. I don't want to let them get away. Nice time on Fuego Flats on 4th. That little 50-metre sprint section. So clearly this is the desert section of the ride before we head into the hills and the sequoias. And it's a really popular section too. On any given day there's just hundreds of riders getting around this part of Watopia, and typically because it's flat. So with this, I can see we've got Kurt, Brutalist, Nick Wilson. So those C grade riders that I was keeping an eye on are all in this group. Now I think this is Saddle Springs. Oh, no, sorry, the next one up is Saddle Springs, which we'll come up to shortly. And of course, like with everything in Swift, everything has a name, roads, the routes or the routes, the towns, dinosaurs. And of course, if you don't know the name, you just make it up. Trent's asking, are we done yet? That's exactly what I was thinking. Okay, 5K's in. Ever so slight little false flat here of about 1 or 2%. Heart rate's just sitting under 170. And it looks like everyone's just settled in now, which is good. The pace is okay. Nothing too outrageous. And we've got a good route going here, which is great. Alright, slight downhill. You can kind of see that I'm averaging about 3.1, which right at the moment is just under my limit. So anything I can do to keep that down by riding efficiently is absolutely what I'm trying to do. So no hero turns in the front. Looks like I've got plenty of riders to do that for me. Alright, we've got 3 riders up ahead. We've got Vince, I think, who set up pretty quickly with the A and B riders. And a couple of B riders with him, it looks. So I'm sort of sitting up, just trying to get some breaths. Put a little bit of power down here. I don't want to get stuck behind these slower riders as we pass them, just in case they've sort of signed out of the race. It turns out that they jump on our wheel and join the group. Okay, so heart rate's at 170, still within threshold. And things are clicking along. Yeah, so it's a solid group. We've got a few B grade riders with us and an A grade. That should keep the pace going pretty well. Okay, so we're coming up to Saddle Springs. With Dino the dinosaur just on the left there. Or on the right. Yep, so this is Saddle Springs. Now this is a turnaround point for, I think, TikTok and Fuego Flats. So just up here will be a loop that if you turn left, you'll go around, you'll come back the way we came. And you'll see that on the map. That's a little bit further away than I expected, well, that I remembered. Okay. So we can see the big loop, big turnaround roundabout up in the map there. Normally people would just take a left here, go back around and come back the way they came, but we are now heading up to Titan's Grove. This is where we start to go up. Now Titan's Grove has sort of like three climbs as such. One's sort of this climb that we're coming up on now. Then there'll be a descent, and then that's where the Titan's Grove KOM starts. And after we've finished that, there'll be another little pinch a bit further along, and then we're done. So this is where I'm wondering how I'm going to go. So I'm still keeping an eye on Brutalist there, but yeah, we've got a good mix of riders here. Heart rate's at 170. I'm sort of into that red zone now on the histogram at the bottom of the screen there. Now I know this little climb here will end very shortly, so I'm confident that I can stick with these guys for now. Rate's getting up a bit. And of course these aren't up and down descents, they're sort of undulating. So we get a bit of an undulation on the way down, which means you can't really rest into the descent. And that's the same with the climbing up too. It sort of breaks your rhythm a little bit. So I'm pushing to stay in contact with the group here. And I think that I realised that I'm not going to catch them. And so to my left is Rob. And he was one of the guys I was looking out for. I thought he was, he's a good rider. So I figured that the two of us could work together. And that's what I'm hoping here. I really don't want to lose him. And I'm hoping that he's just not going to ride off at some point and drop me. So I tuck him behind. And we're coming back around sort of the first descent. But as I said, it's undulation. So you sort of, you coast down a bit, but then you've got to put some power down. And then you're down again. Yeah, so we're a good 6 seconds now behind that group that we were in. And look, it wasn't unexpected. Heart rate sitting at 173. Now those letters after Rob's name indicate the team he rides with, races for, which in this case is Australia Hump Day Ride. Now I've ridden for them as well. I joined in on their team time trial races last year, which was good fun. So we've hit a little bit of a flat spot before the KOM starts, which is just now. So this is the 2.6 kilometer climb at 2.2% average gradient. And I really am expecting Rob here to just leave me here. I'm pretty much on my limit now. But I managed to get back on his wheel, which is, yeah, I was really happy about. So I'm sticking with him, At the very least, if I can hang with him until we get through the KOM, then that's going to be a good result. So we've come off the pace just a bit, which I'm pretty thankful for at this moment. Heart rate's back down to 168. And you can kind of see the fantasy landscape that the developers at Swift have come up with. Dinosaurs roaming around. So I'm just trying to sit with Rob here, work together with him. I'm looking at the map, there's no one really behind us at the moment, so we're not having to defend any attacks, which is good. So I don't think at this moment I could. So we're about halfway up the climb. And I look down and Rob's disappearing. 6 meters behind. 8 meters, 9, 10. But hello, what's happened here? $16 meters, 17 meters. It's probably a good couple of seconds now behind me. But okay. Didn't expect that. So that's let me come off the pace of just a smidge, which is great. Heart rate sitting about 172. I'll try and bring that down. Still have a decent half of the climb to go. And you can see that power come off the power there, that sort of that green section in the histogram at the bottom of the screen. $174, $173. Rob's over 50 meters behind me, 5 seconds, so I don't want to be complacent and let him sneak back up. Heart rate's at 173. Still in that red zone. Coming up to this last hairpin. Lots of grunting. Lots of grunting on this ride. I've probably got about 100 meters now to the top of the KOM. Seven seconds ahead now, 8 seconds ahead of Rob. 22 seconds ahead of WR. And this is the finish. There's two little rock formations there. But there we go. You're on the downhill. So I'm like 3/4 of a minute behind Kurt Arnold and Brutalist. So they are absolutely smashing it. Alright, we've got a short downhill here. Try and recover. Heart rate 176. Hopefully bring that down. We've got just under 7 kilometers left. Alright, so a little flat, false flat here. Thanks, Mark. Before we kick it up, just for that final little pinch, just up ahead. These undulations just make it just difficult to get into a rhythm. Let's do a pinch here. Try and put some power down. So I don't realise it yet, but that B grade rider Schleppen and WR are yeah, they're gaining on me. I haven't noticed. I just passed another B grade rider. Burnt some matches there. And that's pretty much the last of the climbing. Definitely in the hurt locker. That's what I mean. It's one thing to put the power down the flat where it's consistent and, you know, fairly regular, but to put power in hills and going up is just so much more harder. Alright, so going back around all the twisting turns. Schleppen and WR are now just about 10 seconds behind me. And I think I pick it up about here. And I realise what's going on. And you can see that green dot on the map there. Oh, sorry, yeah, the green and the blue dot. Yep. So they aren't far away. Now we've got 4.5 Ks left. Now we're starting to come to the pointy end. Still got a little bit of downhill left. I'm looking at that time gap. It's now 5 and 7 seconds. 4 Ks to go. Oh. Now Schleppen, I'm not worried about him. He's in B grade, so that's not going to impact my finishing position. But WR certainly is. And I had a quick look at Rob, and yeah, he's not. He's 16 seconds behind yet. That hasn't changed. Alright, so Schleppen is just behind me. Coming up is like 25 meters. I'm coming through the sulfur pools. 15 meters behind. WR is still 5 seconds. And he's the one I'm keeping an eye on now. So at the moment, I think I'm sitting somewhere around 5th overall in C. So there's slapping. Thanks, Joe, for the ride on. So put a little bit of power down, jump on his wheel. Hopefully I can hang on to him. And it'll be enough to stay ahead of WR. He's only 3 seconds behind. So I can see he's putting some serious power down now. 5.8 watts per kilo, 5.4 watts. Really putting in effort. And he's coming up now. He's 35 meters behind. I'm thinking, oh no. Oh no. 2.5 Ks to go. I am right on the button. 30 meters. He's putting at 4.5 watts per kilo. (22, 21 meters). We've got 2 Ks to go. I think I'm still sitting in 5th position overall in C. And there he is, he's caught us and goes straight past, and I'm thinking, nah, I can't, I just can't. But damn it. But then what I realised is that he's not gaining on us, like he's not opening that gap up. He's sort of just sitting there, which, you know, that didn't make sense to me. If it had been me, I would have sat with us and then recovered a bit. So one last effort. I'm going to burn all the matches in the book here except for the last one. And it's enough just to cross that gap. And I managed to get his wheel. So here we are, just under 1.5 Ks to go. I would love to know what he's thinking right about now. Seriously, it's everything I can do just to hang on. 1K. Now if he rides off on me here, there's just no way. There is no way that I'm going to be able to stay on. And for a second there, I thought that's exactly what he's doing. 4.3, 4.1 watts per kilo. Burn a spare match. 800 meters from the finish. So we're battling out for 5th spot. (600 meters). Managed to get his wheel again. (500 meters). Barely, just 2 meter gap. 400 meters. And this is it, I think. No, I've got to do something here. So kick it up. 200 meters left. $150. 100. Alright, power down. And just came on the line. Whoa. That was just amazingly painful. So overall, finished 5th in C grade, which was amazing. I didn't think I'd have such a good result. So I'll give all those guys a like. I was actually just trying to give the C grade riders a like. And we can see that, yeah, Brutalist has won there. He's picked it up over Kurt. You can see that Kurt's putting out 3.8 watts per kilo, so, and he's in the wrong category. That should be B. Progression, not perfection. Alright, so average 169, power distribution was I think 244 on average. So we can sort of see the difference between my best and this ride. So certainly lots of ground to cover there, lots of ground, but we're moving in the right direction. So it was good. It was a good ride. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next race.